Straight Talk TV with my co-host, attorney Randall Cahill, myself, Nicole Jenkins, and this is a very special segment. We have the mother of Monica Sykes, Regina Sykes. Monica was found missing from Berkeley, and we want to really discuss the issues that are going on. This is a heartfelt segment. This is Straight Talk TV, and we're going to get to the bottom line. We're going to talk about statistics. We're going to talk about the disconnect between police officers and citizens. We're going to talk about how your socioeconomic status, according to your socioeconomic status, how you are ignored, and crime in crime-ridden areas. But Monica, she's gone. We have not seen her. There has been people from all over, rescue crews that came out to find her. And it seems as if this story is kind of swept up under the rug. And so I felt, both myself and Randall, we felt that there's a need to put this story out here and not to get secondhand information, to actually talk to her mother, to talk to the family of Monica Sykes, because it needs to be out. And Randall?
Well, good morning, everyone. It is a very serious session today, and I applaud Miss Regina Sykes for keeping this in the forefront of everyone. She has done a phenomenal job. Her daughter's been missing since the end of October. I've worked with the Sykes family almost from the start, trying to get a proper investigation going, trying to get the right law enforcement agencies to do the right thing. We have a tragic situation where a young woman is missing from our community. It happens far, far more often than any one of us had ever suspected. And as we pull the statistics up, we realize that both St. Louis City and North County has been cordoned off to the point where there are not the resources to investigate the types of situations that we face, both in terms of missing persons, both in terms of murders, both in terms of all of the crimes that take place in the North City, North County area. And I'm happy to be here with Ms. Sykes this morning because I think she has a unique and very bird's eye view of how this process works. Ms. Sykes, if you could open up by telling us when Monica went missing and what has happened to date in terms of the investigation for finding her.
Yes, so Monica went missing October 28th of 2016. The day after she went missing is when we reported it to Berkeley Police. There were some twists and turns there because we went into a panic. And that panic that was ensued was because this was an unusual circumstance. Monica would never go more than a couple hours without texting or calling her oldest sister, whom she lives with. So as we scrambled that Saturday to just pull everything together, what we did discover is that the last person to actually see her, knowingly, admittingly see her, is a Berkeley police officer. And we've struggled with that. And we've tried to just make sure that Berkeley was aware that we were concerned that how can they investigate their own. And it's one of those things when your child goes missing, you don't know what to do. It's a totally new circumstance, and you trust and believe that the law enforcement agencies will assist you and will do the thing that's right. And at this point, we don't feel like they've done their due diligence with this officer, with the entire investigation itself.
Now, Ms. Sykes, let's start off by how this crime was originally reported. Did this Berkeley police officer start off by identifying himself and saying that he had some type of relationship with Monica?
No, it started off because Monica, typically if her phone was going dead, whoever she was with, she would grab their phone and call me, call my mom, call her sister. And when my daughter Dana called and said that Monica had not come home, I started going through my phone to see if if I recognized the number that she had called me from that Thursday. And I did find a number. I called a guy. He answered. I told him who I was, told him that we were looking for Monica. We were concerned because she didn't come home. He then said to me, okay, well, no, I haven't seen her since Friday morning, is what he said. Can you just keep me posted? And I said, sure. So from that point, I have a friend that her husband is a St. Louis County police officer. So I contacted him just to find out what we should do. Should we check and see if she had been arrested for any traffic warrants or anything of that nature? So in the time while my friend's husband was looking up that information, I received a second phone call from the guy, Monica, that I talked to before about Monica. And he called and said, hi, this is Robert. I'm just checking to see if Monica made it home. And I said, no. And he said, okay. So after about a couple hours, my friend's husband called me back, said that she wasn't in the system anywhere. He said, you need to start calling the hospital. Let's start calling the hospitals. So I wasn't at home. I called my husband, told him what my friend's husband had said. And my husband goes, well, he's on the case because he sent the Berkeley police over to Dana's house. And my first response was, no, he didn't. He would never do that. First, he would never do it because he didn't have Dana's address. Secondly, he would never send police without telling me.
Yeah.
And so we called Dana, and she says, well, yeah, there's now a uniformed Berkeley police officer here, and there's 2 detectives. So, of course, we hit the panic button even more, because why are the police and detectives there, and we're just in the beginning hours of the day after she went missing. We were still trying to find her and find answers. We get over to my daughter's house, and there's a uniformed police officer standing outside of the house. There's a detective in a car and one standing outside. The uniformed police officer walks up to me, hugs me, and says, hi, I'm Robert. So that's how we
This
found
is the
out.
same Robert
So-
who you called earlier who never identified himself as a
Yes.
police officer.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then this Robert, the Berkeley police officer who was last seen with your daughter was last with him before she disappeared. So he was hired by the city council without even a background check. I'm getting this. And he just showed up at your daughter's residence.
Yes. And when he talked to Dana, he asked, was Monica home? Second question out of his mouth to Dana was, Monica didn't tell you about me? And it's like, she's desperately trying to find her sister, and you want to know what Monica told about him. And my daughter goes, well, no, not really. She told me that she had met a police officer she worked at Old Henry's restaurant, and she was a server there. So a lot of the Berkeley police officers come there. So she had told Dana about that, but this was months ago. So we had no idea she was involved with this police officer at all.
But her sister Dana never knew of this police officer. Monica never brought this police officer home.
No.
Was Monica the type of young lady that would kind of keep her personal life, relationship life from you and your husband?
She wouldn't keep it from me. Or definitely not Dana. So
Okay.
that's the unusual part.
Because it seems as if they were close.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even if she didn't tell you about her personal life,
Exactly.
this story seems to like keep unraveling. Because I probably wouldn't tell my mother something, but I would tell my close cousin something. So Dana and Monica, they were very close. Where Dana, and they lived in the same house.
Yes. Yes.
Dana should have known about this police officer, about her sister dating him.
Yes.
If she truly was, if this was serious, if she was truly dating this man.
Yes.
And maybe this was the first time Monica even went out with him. We don't know.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, is that I don't know. What I do know is that I was able to get to her phone records. And,
I was going to ask that.
And I did just start like scanning through to see how often his phone number came up, because the phone records show her outgoing calls, but it doesn't show incoming calls.
Okay.
So for the month of October, starting October 5th until the 27th of October, it was roughly about 30 calls that she had made to him, and they were calls in extent. So it wasn't like, a 30-second or a minute phone call.
Okay.
It was lengthy conversations that they had on the phone.
Okay.
We also know that once she stopped working at Old Henry, she went and she was working at another restaurant, and one of her good friends had asked us, well, who's the guy in the dark blue SUV, because he picked her up from work one time or a couple of times, and this Robert, he owns a dark SUV, so we're like, possibly him, we don't know. And the sad part about it is that all the information that we want to get from her friend passed away 3 weeks ago. So now we're left with no answers to that, and we're now trying to get answers from this police officer that is less likely to share,
to even say anything right now. We're going to take a small small recess, and we'll be back. Straight Talk TV.
St. Louis, have you checked out 95.5 R&B and old school for the Lou? Playing the greats of R&B to old school classic hip-hop and today's R&B. We are 95.5 R&B and old school for the Lou. Listen online at 955thelou.com.
Welcome back, St. Louis. This is the second segment of Straight Talk TV with myself, host Nikki J, attorney Randall Cahill, co-host, and we have Regina Sykes, the mother of missing Berkeley woman MonicaSykes. So, Randall, let's take this back to the investigation with Regina.
Regina, can you explain to our audience today, to the best of your knowledge, what has been done? Who has investigated the missing report of your daughter? Has it been done by Berkeley? Has it done by St. Louis County? Have reports been issued to you as to the whereabouts of your daughter, or the facts that have come out so far today?
So what has been done by Berkeley is continuing to do the investigation.
Okay.
They're the ones that have investigated their own police officer. There is another person of interest that they're naming. That was a guy that Monica had dated for a couple of months. They have not provided us with any type of written report. In the very beginning, we got status of what they were going to do next, right? So the first 2 or 3 weeks, they were in constant contact of, here's where we're searching, here's what we're going to do tomorrow. So it's constant contact. After about 3.5 weeks, that contact really slowed down. We still expressed our concerns about them investigating their own police officer. We have not received any type of report as far as where they're going with the investigation. The person of interest, we don't know what specific questions they've asked other than, did he know where Monica was? And he stated no, he didn't know she was missing, and then refused to cooperate any further.
So does this police officer have a record? Does he have anything? Since a background check wasn't done when he was hired, was a background check done now that Monica's missing? Have we did a background check? Have Berkeley? What do we know about this police officer?
So at this point, the background check is they're now pursuing it. So 3.5 months into my child being missing. Wow. And Berkeley just finding out that this police officer didn't have a background check. They are now starting to do the background check on him.
Wow. So how long has he been on the Berkeley police force?
I believe now he's been there for maybe 4 or 5 months. It may have been a little bit longer.
Is he on leave without pay or leave with pay, or is he still working?
I'm not sure what type of leave. They told us administrative leave.
Okay.
Initially, we were told he was on administrative leave because he spoke to the press.
Okay.
And now we're finding out he's on administrative leave because there was no background check performed.
Wow.
And it's my understanding that background check has turned up that Mr. Robert Howard has had several employment stints, very short employment stints with several of the police departments in North County, to the tune of 5 to 10 other departments in the course of the last 10 years.
Yes.
Is my understanding correct? with that in mind, it's my understanding that both you and your husband took this case to St. Louis County and asked him to do an investigation because of the internal conflict within. What was the result of that, Ms.
The
Sykes?
result of that was they told us they thought Berkeley was doing a good job and they would not be taking on that case. If Berkeley asked them for assistance, they would provide it, but otherwise they would not take on that case, and that's how I understand it.
And see, this is where I have a problem. This is where I have a
That's
problem.
a real problem.
This is the disconnect between our city, between St. Louis. I think it's a socio-economical disconnect. If you would have walked in, and I'm not even going to go there with skin color because we're not even going to talk about race. I'm going to talk about money, financials. When Macon Boken was missing, the SLU student, well, when she was murdered, her family immediately came down and they wanted her killer found. Jennifer Joyce, the prosecuting attorney for St. Louis City, she stepped in, she stepped up. The results weren't good because they prosecuted an innocent young man. Non-stop, you heard about this every day. Michael Brown, Bob McCullough. We're not even going to go there, but we know what he did. His attitude was, I don't care. Your daughter. It's a Berkeley police officer. That alone should be handled by St. Louis County, in my eyes. The St. Louis County prosecutor should have taken this case because you know and I know, Berkeley police officer doing their own investigation on their own police officer and their force, that can go so many ways. I feel in order for it to be neutral, Bob McCullough should have stepped in and he should have taken that case over. And to tell you that they're doing an okay job and we're not going to step in, you're not doing justice to the citizen. And this is a disconnect between St. Louis, Missouri, St. Louis City and County.
Well, no, I think it's a difficult thing. Anytime a police department investigates one of their own, and for that reason, I tend to agree with you, Nikki J. This is something that should have been handled a lot differently.
Yes.
And thank you to Ms. Sykes and her wonderful husband who have kept this thing afloat through social media, through talking to every agency that they could. Not only have they talked to Berkeley and St. Louis County, but they've also spoken to the FBI. They've also went as far as Texas and found the EquiSearch team, which graciously volunteered to come up to St. Louis and within a day or two found remains of a young woman. We don't know whether she's Monica or not, but at least remains were found in a one-day search, and we've had some success at least, and it's our understanding that Berkeley has sent those remains off to be tested to see whose DNA they belong to. But I want to applaud Ms. Sykes and her husband for keeping this in the forefront, for not letting it drop like so many of our other folks have. And I don't want to say that they've dropped it. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. Can you tell us, Monica, because I know you've taken the time to do some extra research on this and found out that there are all kinds of missing persons in the St. Louis County and Berkeley area and the city of St. Louis. Can you tell us a little bit about what you found?
So what I found in Berkeley alone is that from the Missouri State Highway Patrol database, there are 36 people that have been reported missing from Berkeley.
And what time period is that?
And that's over a 10-year time period. But then if you narrow the scope and just look at 2014 to 2017, where we are right now, it's 26 people that have been reported missing. Of those 26, 21 are female.
Wow.
These are young black females or teenage girls that are missing from our community, which leads me back.
And this is in Berkeley.
This is in Berkeley.
Okay,
just
so
Berkeley.
that is why St. Louis County should be stepping in. Those statistics, and I'm sure they have them. Have you talked to someone to St. Louis County about the statistics?
I've brought it to, in Bob McCullough's office, to Ed McGee. I brought it to his attention the last meeting that we had with them.
Okay.
And although he seemed surprised at those numbers, there still hasn't been any real movement on, on pursuing that. And even bringing it up in the meeting with the mayor of Berkeley, the chief of police seemed to say that he thought there were three people missing from Berkeley. He thought there was only three. And I can name three, which includes one of which is my daughter, two of which one has been missing since 2008. The other one, 2007, I believe she went missing. So if you just look at just those three and not even include the others, then there's a total disconnect there, and there doesn't seem to be anyone that cares about the fact that there's missing individuals there. And we got...
And in one area, Berkeley.
That's Berkeley.
It circles back to Berkeley. We're going to take a small break, but we're going to get back to these numbers and statistics because that opened up a whole nother can of worms that we can go to. Straight Talk TV will be back with segment 3.
St. Louis, have you checked out 95.5 R&B and old school for the Lou? Playing the greats of R&B to old school classic hip-hop and today's R&B. We are 95.5 R&B and old school for the Lou. Listen online at 955thelou.com.
Regina, you just said something that really, it was tearful for me. And because I am doing the reporting, I'm not going to cry on camera, but I'm going to tell you something. Instances like this, it happens all the time to minority women and poor white women. Whether they're raped, whether they're brutally beaten, whether they're murdered and you can't find them anymore. And the reason I'm saying this is because although you might look, I don't know you, you don't know me, and you might look at me as just a reporter, but this just happened to me. And I am alive. I called Randall and everybody I know. And it happened to me by a police officer. So I don't, and it's hell getting out of it. And this wasn't in the state of Missouri. It was Illinois. But I truly understand how you feel because this is your daughter. And I understand how impoverished people feel as it pertains to police officers. And I understand why young men that are pulled over by police officers, that are beaten by police officers, women that are raped by police officers. Me being pulled over by a police officer that wasn't right. It did something to me. And now I truly understand and I can feel it. I think that anybody that's watching this show, we need justice for your daughter. The statistics that you just told me, how many women, how many African American women in Berkeley are missing?
21.
And how many women total?
Total, it's 26 total.
26 total. 21 African American women missing and have never been found.
No. And this is years.
Let's go back. How many years? The time span?
So we'll look at the 10-year period, right? So it's 36 total. And then let's narrow it down, 2014 to 2017. It's 26 people missing. Of that 26, 21 women, 22 women, 21 of them are African American females.
Wow.
So when you think about, my life was going great. I, loved my husband, kids, everybody was okay. Everybody's, thriving in their lives. And you never think this will happen to you. I'm one of those people that I share when I see somebody, somebody's missing and I'm concerned, but you never think that you'll become part of those statistics.
And you're so you're so strong. And I know you probably have times where you just break down.
Yes. Yeah.
But you just show this gratitude about yourself where you're just so strong.
I've got to stay strong, not just for my family, but I feel like I have some type of commitment to the people that don't have a voice, the people that, it's a lot of parents out there that are missing their kids and feel like they are alone. And they've been treated as though they're all individual separate cases and they are alone, and they either shut down or don't want to deal with the police or just don't know which way to turn. So this happening to me, and me being able to have a platform, or me being able to contact people and do the thing, whatever it is that I need to do. I'm missing my daughter desperately. But this is bigger than Monica. You know, my daughter is 4'11", 100 pounds, little tiny thing.
Wow.
But what's happened to her is it's larger than any one thing that's happened to her. It's
And
bigger.
Monica might be that spirit and that driving force where somebody within that police department, because you can't tell me, if it's not a police officer, it's somebody out there that's targeting women. And Bob McCullough ought to be ashamed of himself. So I tell you what, you have started a movement. Anybody watching this show, we need to start a movement. Let's put it out on social media. Let's go right in front of the St. Louis County Courthouse and Bob McCullough. And if you step up and you do the right thing, the outcome could be greater, because it's bigger than, as Regina said, it's bigger than Monica. This can help so many families. And it's time for I need professors from Washington University, UMSL, they do research. We have Randall, attorneys. We need to find these missing women, these young women. So we're going to turn this into an hour-long segment. This is the first episode of the Regina Sykes and MonicaSykes story, who's missing from Berkeley, Fay Avenue. We're going to come back next week, and we're going to keep this story going because we have so much to talk about. Randall, anything you want to say?
Yeah, I'd like to conclude by saying that we've got two sides of a coin. One is, you know, the problems that having a police force that's not connected to the community and the effects that has, but the other side is solving the crime.
Yes.
We've got to find some kind of way of getting to the root causes of this, because when we don't solve them, guess what? It increases. Now, all the statistics are suggesting that crime is going down, but in many ways, in our community, it's been just the opposite. And we have to take this opportunity. I applaud Ms. Sykes and her husband for leading this charge, because but for them, this thing would not be off the ground.
I always say she's not a child, but she's my child.
Amen.
And
Amen.
I am not giving up on her. I'm going to find her. By any means necessary, I'm going to find her.
So we'll be back with segment 2. Make sure to watch us next week, same time, ABC 30, Sunday, 12:30 a.m., Straight Talk TV, with mother of MonicaSykes, Regina Sykes, myself, host Nikki J, and co-host attorney Randall Cahill.
Thank you very much.
St. Louis Stand Up.